Hi there, welcome to my channel. Yesterday I spent some time doing a little clearance plant shopping down at one of our local garden centers. And so today I'm out in my backyard and I'm going to do a little bit of planting. Now I feel like I need to do a little bit of a warning here for a few different reasons. So first of all, clearance plants. Usually they're plants that have been sitting around for a while in their containers, and the garden centers, the nurseries are just trying to clear them out, so they offer them at a discount. Oftentimes they're not looking their best, a little scraggly, but they're still healthy, totally able to bounce back if you're able to snag them up. So my plants are definitely not looking the greatest. And so another thing is, what I was really focused on getting was ornamental grasses for the back corner of my yard, where I'm trying to kind of make this grass area. And so I feel like ornamental grasses, especially clearance ornamental grasses, are looking a little dry, scraggly, definitely not their best. Okay, and the third part of my little warning here is this back corner that I'm focusing on today is absolutely a work in progress. I promise I have a vision, but I can't promise that this is going to be a very satisfying final result. It's definitely going to require a little imagination to kind of see what I'm trying to do. It's just going to take time for these plants to fill in and really get a little healthier and look fresher. So anyway, that's my little warning. Now, the garden center I went to yesterday, I had never been there before, but I saw on Facebook that they were offering 50% off. And this particular garden center is only open in the spring and summer, so they're really trying to clear everything out. So I pounced and I got in my car, went down there, and I found a good selection. I didn't get quite enough to fill in the entire area, so again, work in progress, but I'll definitely get some things added in, so by next spring I've got a good jump start on this area. Okay, as we walk, here's our little hillside garden from last week, still doing really well. The hydrangeas, I'd kind of said a little mental goodbye to them, but they're still doing fine. Everything's doing great. I'm probably going to reseed these areas in our grass next week. The weather's gotten a lot cooler. We've got some nice gray skies, which sounds great to me right now. Got our chickens, our cute little zinnias. Okay, and then this is our area right over here, our work in progress. All right, so this is the area I'm going to be working in today. It's in the back corner of our yard. I'm hoping you guys can hear me over the background noise. I do have a freeway near my house. It sounds really loud right now. You can see we've already got some grasses here. These are transplants that we actually, my husband, divided these from some existing feather reed grass that we have all around the yard, and he just divided clumps and stuck them in the ground. Normally it's not best to do that in the middle of the summer, and I know that they totally look dead. Some of them might be, but this grass is really tough. I actually have one right over here, right here, that looked just like these last year, and it's doing fine. You can see the green at the base is really starting to kind of plume out. So anyway, I'm hoping those do well, and next spring we'll cut those back, and then hopefully the green will start kind of growing out, and then the stalks will shoot up like they are now. It's really pretty. It makes for really great winter interest, and I love, especially during like golden hour, when the light hits these seed heads and it just looks like they're sparkling, kind of glowing. And I especially like the color of the grass up against the evergreen backdrop. It just contrasts so well. I know these don't look very good right now. I know this is a little messy maybe looking, but I promise I have a vision. I did put in a few little pockets of Thumbelina zinnias, one here and then one over there. These here are hot pokers. They're done blooming. I've deadheaded them, so right now they look like just little clumps of grass, not very exciting, but they have these stalks that rise up, and then they go from like white to red blooms, and they're really cool looking. So we have several of those kind of nestled in here also. Right here, this is a burning bush that I actually dug up and transplanted over here. That was such a hard project. So there's the burning bush, and I actually moved it from right where our chicken coop is here. All that was here before we put this in was just the one burning bush, and this was all just kind of plain. It looked nice and neat, but we really wanted our chicken coop right here, so move that guy right over there. And it was doing pretty well. I think I neglected it a little bit over the summer once it got hot. I'm not sure if the drip tubing got plugged or what, but I need to just pay a little more attention, and hopefully he'll start to recover a little more. So I do have some inspiration for this project. We were actually visiting where we used to live about an hour and 15 minutes away, just driving down a city street, and I saw just this little, city sidewalk area, and they had a garden bed with these tall feather reed grass like I have, and then some lower growing grasses kind of underplanted beneath them. And it looked really pretty. The light was hitting the grasses, just making them kind of sparkle, and it looked really nice. I normally use ornamental grasses more as an accent. That's just the way I like to use them. But in this case, it'll be more of a focal point. But again, I think it'll contrast nicely up against the evergreen backdrop. If it wasn't so far away, I would actually go drive and take a picture of what it was that I saw, because it just looked really pretty. It actually surprised me seeing that many grasses grouped together and how much I liked it. Okay, another thing I should mention before I get started, you can see that this area is gravel, and it just turns into my neighbor's gravel driveway. So I don't want to just add mulch because then it gets messy and it gets all mixed. So what I'm going to be doing is just leaving the gravel, kind of scraping it aside. I'll supplement with some soil conditioner and kind of mix it in with the native soil, which isn't very good quality, and then just kind of concentrate on each hole and then kind of tidy up the gravel, which as I plant these, as they grow in and really fill in over the edges, hopefully this gravel will kind of disappear. I do want to leave pockets for annuals like my zinnias, and then here in the front I want to leave pockets for some supertunias. You can see this is where all of our little bird friends like to come and dust bathe. It's really cute to watch. Okay, as for our plant haul, now remember these are clearance plants. So let's start with this guy. This is Pennisetum. It is the redhead, and it's so hard to tell just looking at it right here what it's going to look like. I'll try to find some pictures and put it up on the screen. This one does get, I think it gets 4 feet, yes, 4 feet by 3 feet, full sun, and it gets kind of some red seed heads on it. Really pretty. I got 3 of these little, I'm gonna butcher this name, but these little burgundy bunnies. These get about 18 by 18 inches, so they're just little. I got 3 of them. I thought they'd make kind of a cute little grouping. Maybe you can tell by the tag what it looks like. And then this one is absolutely, I think, my favorite type of ornamental grass. I've never grown it. Let's pick one where you can kind of see what it looks like. But it's the Pennisetum. I think it's pronounced Hameln. I'm probably saying that wrong. But it gets about 2 feet by 2 feet, and it gets these really pretty little seed heads that just kind of plume out, so it kind of creates this sparkly little sphere. So underneath the feather reed grass, it's just going to make these soft little globes that just sparkle in the sunshine. And again, these guys were divided from the feather reed grass that's all around our yard. Okay, I walked out to our front yard. Here's one here. Gives you a better idea of what it looks like in a healthier state. Normally every spring I tie them and then cut them back, so the stalks are cut pretty short, and then the green just kind of plumes out again, nice and fresh. I didn't do that last spring, and you can absolutely tell because there's a lot of dead under there, which if you cut them back, it tends to help them look a little fresher. So you can see with this one, it really could use some dividing. They almost start to kind of create their own little plants. So see how there's kind of a clump there, There's a clump over here, and then I would leave the middle so that it stays nice and centered in that garden bed. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started placing everything. I have my little bulb auger that I'm gonna use to just kind of loosen up and mix the soil in with the soil conditioner. And then I have a little bit of starter fertilizer, gloves, and I think that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, I think I have everything placed. Again, my goal is to kind of do a little underplanting here. I do want it to look kind of balanced. Doesn't have to look perfect, but from both sides. Now you'll notice back here there's some gaps. And I didn't have enough grasses. I couldn't find enough to fill in the entire area. So probably next spring I'll focus on this area. I think it would be kind of neat to soften up this edge here and just kind of make some really pretty lush grassy areas. This guy, since he gets a little taller, I thought this would be really pretty kind of in the back here, and maybe I could find a few more of those next spring to kind of dot in here. We'll see. So we've got the Hameln here. Again, that is my favorite. Got this one tucked right in here. I'll probably have to do a little adjusting. And I do want them to be snug. I want them to crowd together. I'll need to size control these and make sure they don't get too big, but I do want them to basically eventually kind of cover this grassy area. Of course, we'll leave our pockets here where I can come in, kind of clear this area out and add some healthier soil. We've got our three little guys here, the little burgundy bunnies. Again, 18 by 18 inches, so they'll kind of be tight together and make this little mini hedge. And then I can plant some supertunias and maybe some lemon coral sedum right down below. I think a combination of supertunia Bordeaux or maybe bubblegum with the bright chartreuse of the lemon coral sedum would be a really pretty planting right along there, with the grasses kind of surrounding. Okay, all done planting. That was a little bit of hard work. I hit a few roots, I hit a little bit of an anthill. Some of the plants were very root bound. One, I had a hard time just getting out of the pot. And the soil was very rocky, hard to dig in. I got everything kind of leveled out. I tried to kind of smooth the gravel, just tidy it up just a little bit. And then I got everything watered in. But real quick, say hello to my little friend right here. At least this is happening right at the end of gardening season. I used up my whole bag of starter fertilizer and my hose sprung a leak. So watering was a little slow because my pressure was so low. So I think I'm just gonna finish out the season with a watering can. I don't want to buy a new hose right now. But let me show you just kind of how everything looks. As I warned you, it's not exactly beautiful, but I'll show you and hopefully you can kind of imagine the look I'm going for and kind of what it could be later on. Okay, everything is planted. I just kind of weave the new grasses in. Pennisetum, Hameln, here, 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 here. And then I did our 3 little burgundy bunnies here, here, and here. This is where I hit the anthill. I ended up having an ant kind of nibbling on my wrist. I did another Hameln, I hope I'm saying that right, I'm probably not, here. And I know this looks a little crowded. This is where there's a big root running here, so I had to kind of scoot him over. But remember, these zinnias are going to be gone here in about a month. They're annuals, and then I did leave little pockets in the front so I could run a hedge of supertunia and some lemon coral sedum right in here. Okay, and then in the back we have the red head that gets the red seed heads, and that one gets a little bit taller, 4 by 3, so it'll kind of stand out. So like I said, this isn't exactly one of those satisfying kind of beautiful garden transformations. This is clearance plants, grasses that are looking kind of dry, small, but eventually over time will kind of plume out, cover that area, and create some really pretty texture and interest in the garden. I was just joking with my neighbor. I feel like I'm creating all of these different biomes on my property. I have, our forest area, we have our shady garden, we have now our grasslands, and I told her I need to, develop some sand dunes somewhere, or, an Arctic area. Kind of funny, but it is nice to have kind of some different elements in different color, different interests. I do like grasses because you can leave them up throughout the winter and then cut them back in the spring, so it creates some nice winter interest. It's just fun to change things up. So it's the end of summer, we're almost to fall. There's not a whole lot of time left for this gardening season before everything starts to kind of go dormant, but I'm really using this as a chance to kind of kickstart my garden for next year. I don't expect anything from these grasses, obviously, over the fall, winter, but come spring, I'm excited to see everything kind of liven up and really blossom. And finding clearance plants is a great time to kind of do that and kind of jumpstart your garden, because you're getting a lot of plants for a fraction of their usual cost. So just a friendly reminder to go check out your local garden centers and see if you can find any deals on plants that you want to incorporate into your own garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.